This is Kanji in Danzanryu Jiu-Jitsu. I'm your host, George Arrington. In this series of videos, we're going to be looking at the Oku No Te board from Danzanryu Jiu-Jitsu. In this first episode, we're going to look solely at the name of the board. The material in this video was taken largely from this scroll. This scroll, or makimono, is given the name Moku Roku, which in Japanese means a catalog, and so it's a catalog of the Danzanryu system. The Oku No Te board comes from this section of the scroll. In this video, we're going to look at the name of the board, Oku No Te, and then this series of characters here. So here's the image from the scroll of the board name, and what it says is this, and that's read as Oku No Te. So what does this mean? Well, Oku, which some people may read or understand as something that's deep, doesn't really mean deep. It means the interior or the inner or the core of something. It doesn't really mean deep as we have thought of in the past. It's not the deep techniques, it's the inner techniques. The no, as we've seen in previous videos, is the possessive particle. It's like adding an apostrophe s on a word in English. And then te means is the counter for techniques. It could also mean steps. Te more frequently is used for the word for hand, but in this context it means techniques. And so this is the inner techniques. Now this other series of characters is of note here. It says Niju go hon. Niju go hon. And so what does that mean? Well, that means Niju go is 25, and then the hon is a little different than the numberings that we saw in earlier boards. We saw they said Niju go te, or 25 techniques. Here we're saying hon, which means fundamentals. Now you can read a lot into that, but there really isn't that big of a deal. It only means that these are the 25 fundamental techniques. Certainly, in the Danzanryu system, there's much more beneath the first layer of techniques. So oftentimes we say the term boards, and I wanted to show you a picture of the boards. This is a picture of the interior of the Kodenkan Dojo in Honolulu, and back in the 1940s. It's since been torn down, but this is what the dojo of Professor Okazaki looked like on the inside. You see that there's a number of paintings and pictures on the walls, but there are these wooden planks that are standing up there with some writing on it. These are what we call the boards, and so they call them boards because they were actual wooden boards, painted white, and they wrote the technique names on them. In previous videos, we dealt with this board, which is the nage, and this one, which is the shime. But in this series of videos, we're going to be looking at this, which is the oku. Now, interestingly, on the scroll it says Oku No Te. On the board it says Oku no Kata. So we'll take a look and try to understand a little bit about that. So what's the big deal? Oku No Te versus Oku No Kata. Well, the let's first look at the two words, the kanji for the two words. Here's te, which means hand or techniques, and here's kata. And by the way, you can also use this character for kata, meaning form. So this means this te means hand, or the counter for techniques, and this means the form or shape. So typically, if you are studying something like karate style, you would learn katas, where you do a series of connected movements, and that would be what you call your forms or your katas. Um, and so the other connection between the terms something no kata in Danzanryu is that there was a judo influence in Professor Okazaki's training, and they call their techniques nage no kata, kime no kata, itsutsu no kata, various names, but they use that no kata, so the form of throwing, the form of constriction, and so forth. So that's that's possibly what influenced the names on the actual boards. So the question always comes up: which one's right? Well, my personal opinion is that they're both right. They're both fine. It's just that one needs to understand the source of each of these. The Oku No Te comes from the scroll, and these scrolls were written by Japanese speakers. The boards were written by non-Japanese speakers, typically, and so there probably was this there's no difference between the two attitude in the dojo, and it's quite likely that Professor Okazaki said, "Yeah, sure, say no kata." So it's something we'll never know for sure, but that's my best guess on that. So let's take a look at this this character, Oku. First off, let's look at how it's written. It's kind of an interesting technique, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn on my laser pointer here and show you how this is written. This is the stroke order of the kanji Oku. And the way it goes is you would start here and come down like this. That would be stroke number 1. Then you come over to here and go down. That's stroke number 2. Then you lift up your pen. You start here, and stroke 3 goes over and down like so. And then stroke 4 is this little small one here, 4. Then you come over here, 5. Then you come all the way back over here and say 6 goes like that. 7 goes down. 8 goes this way, and 9 goes this way. And then you come over here and you come across. 10 goes like so, and doesn't necessarily connect with the bottom here, so it can be below the bottom of that box. 11 goes like so, and then 12 goes like this. So that's the character for Oku with the stroke orders. Now, one interesting thing about this character is that this is actually a simplified character from an earlier form, an earlier uncommon form for Oku. And so the earlier form looks like this. Let me turn the laser pointer on again. And notice that on the earlier form, it has one additional stroke, which is right here. So in the stroke orders, this stroke would come before this one, this one, this one, and so on. So they simplified this character by taking away that one stroke. So now kanji are made up typically of different shapes that are common to other kanji, and we sometimes call those the radicals. For the Oku kanji, the radical is this part that I've highlighted in the yellow. And what that character is, if we were to pull that out, it looks like that. And this is the character which is voiced as tai, or sometimes dai. This means large. So you can think of a person with their arms outspread and their legs spread, and he's making his arms wide. So he's saying, this is big, this is large. One other part of the kanji, which is not the actual official radical, but one interesting part about this is this interior portion of the kanji. And it looks like that. And this one is read as bei, B-E-I if you were writing it in English, bei. And this character means has several different meanings. First one is rice. And so if you're talking about rice, this is that character. Another way that this character is used is if you see this character, it often is meaning the United States of America. For instance, there's a store called the Nichibei Busan, which is the Japanese American trading company. So that bei is means United States. In the Japanese term for America is bei koku, or the beautiful kingdom, and that's the way in Chinese you would say Meiguo, which is also America. But it has another meaning that probably is more useful for the meaning of Oku, of interior, and that's measure. So this can mean measure. But remember, there's also the older form where we use this interior part with this extra stroke that we see right here. And this character is read as une, une. And it does not mean rice or US or measure. What it means is to divide or to separate. One might think of the word holy in English, meaning that which is separate, or that which is set apart. So that's another interesting aspect of this kanji. So originally it had this interior, and so one might think that that's we're keeping something separate and apart. So let's look at some examples from Danzanru using Oku. So we have these two characters together, and when they're put together like this, they're sometimes read this way, Okugi. By the way, they could also be read as a long O sound, Ogi, leaving off the ku sound. So it could be Ogi, like that. And this means the inner secrets. Those few people who have been through a particular class, a particular advanced techniques class given in Santa Clara by Professor Tony Janovich, may know about this term, okugi. Now, when Professor Okazaki had a special black belt class in 1948, he gave out a diploma that had several words on it. Incidentally, Professor Okazaki's class was not called the Okugi class; it was called the Special Black Belt class. But yeah, on that diploma, he writes that the person having Okugi o Taetoku, Okugi o Taetoku, which means have mastered the inner mysteries, and then it goes of Danzanru. But that phrase there, Okugi, to master the inner mysteries. So I would encourage you to pick up my book Mokoroku and Kaiden Sho, that has much more information about not only the scroll but also the Kaiden Sho from 1948 and the ones which were done by Professors Kuferath and Janovich in the 1990s and the 2000s. So this is available on Amazon, and I encourage you to pick this up. Well, I thank you for watching. This I wanted to do one video specifically on the name because there were several different aspects of the name, and wanted to concentrate on that. The next few videos will be on the names of the techniques, so keep an eye out for those, and I thank you very much for watching.